have to give so much gratitude to Jerome and your Qigong. And I've been meditating on your discipline, and I'm just wondering, like, I really wanted to ask what benefits and like how has your life been, I guess, like better? Because we don't explore discipline enough, you know? And welcome, welcome, welcome to all that are joining us. But there's so many benefits to discipline. And I want to know how it's like affected your life. You know, how is your life different because of your discipline?
Okay.
Hey,
Thank
and welcome.
thank you. Thank you for that welcome. I love how
Let's get to it.
I love
Are
how
you
you just
ready?
slingshot me in. You're, you're like, oh man,
you
I wanna
you
know.
were you were in class. I know
Yeah.
you're ready. I know you're ready.
You're like, tell us about discipline. I love this. I love this. Getting right to it. Getting right
Mhm.
to it. So, when it comes to discipline, you're saying discipline in general or in the specific practice of Qigong? Which do you mean when you say discipline?
However it applies to you. I see discipline as like dedication to us and to our processes, and many times there's like maybe sacrifices that it feels difficult at first, and like kind of like stripping away from the norm and what people want us to do and what the projected path is, but it's like discipline to our journey. And I mean, I feel like Qigong is a beautiful tool and resource to stay this, and it's fun. I love Qigong.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, we make it fun, we
Yeah.
joyful. It's the energy that we bring to it, you
Mhm.
know? It's the energy that we put inside it. It's kind of like, this flute. This is the instrument that I play. And
Mhm.
the person that gave me this flute, the one that makes these shakuhachis and that repairs like the kotos and musical instruments, his name is Master Yoshi. He's Mr. Yoshi is over in the Japanese village in Little Tokyo, and that's where I bought this.
Okay.
But he told me, he's a professional shakuhachi player as well. But he told me that, without the player, without the musician, this is just a piece of bamboo. You know what I
Yeah. Bamboo.
mean?
Yeah, yeah. Bamboo's awesome on its own,
Yeah,
but you know, now it's an instrument, and
right,
with a rhythm and a
right,
story. Yeah.
right. It's just a piece of bamboo, Like it's like you said, it's awesome, it's cool. And then you drill these holes inside it and you dry it and then you cultivate it and you go through all this process and some of them take, months and months to make just one of these, but it's still a piece of bamboo,
Yeah.
you know, until you get somebody that blows into it and plays that music and breathes life into it and plays that sound. It's still just bamboo, so he said the musician, the person, the one that's playing it, they make they make it more than what it is, you know so it's like you, when you're coming to qigong, you bring the energy, you bring that energy to the practice, you bring your love to the practice, you bring your joy to the practice, and it's reciprocal. The energy is reciprocal. It just keeps going and it just keeps growing, but you're the one that gets that energy flowing. Yeah.
Uh, Bars.
Oh
I
man.
love that. When you were saying that, I was just thinking how like these meat suits, these beautiful vessels we have are just like the bamboo, but our breath, and I hope later to speak more. I have a beautiful friend who is a breathwork facilitator, but our breath, the simplest thing, is so important in how we breathe and how conscious we are with that, and into these vessels is like, you know, like the difference between a flute and a piece of bamboo.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And speaking of breath and emptiness as well, you know, being played by the universe, being played like a musical instrument, being more in tune, being more harmonious, being more in alignment with that frequency, with that energy as you're channeling information. So just like this flute is empty, you know, you can hear that sound because it's empty. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
got that hole inside it. If it was just like blocked, you couldn't hear anything. You wouldn't be able to hear the breath go through. You wouldn't be able to hear that beautiful music. So just like our bodies, you know, if we're blocked, you know, if we're kind of junked up, if the pipes are kind of gunked up, it's hard to, you know, to be in tune. It's hard to feel harmonious. It's hard to hear and feel that music being played, you know, with the symphony of our body.
Good.
So yeah, love the comparison.
That's so beautiful because we are just channels. I feel that I really like today, you know how I've shown you my screenshot of my intention, and today it was like talk about like being in the flow. What does that mean? How does it look like? How letting go of control and you know like playing with it. Like this morning, I left a few of my instruments and I was like, you know what, let me just see what happens with what I have. And it's been so productive and magical. And I, you know, like just, and it's like little things like that to me. It's not always like big things. Like sometimes it's just like in the little ways that we just go, all right, like I could let this upset me, or I could, you know, go back and forth 100 times, or I can just go with the flow and see what this moment is calling forth. And like letting myself be played like the flute, but with it by the universe or my higher self or whatever we want to call it. But
Yeah,
we are just like channels.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Different instruments for the universe to play with.
Yeah. You, I mean, you got so many instruments. You know, you got your flute right here. You know, this is your flute. You know, your vocal cords, your throat chakra. You're playing that music. You're speaking that vibration. You're channeling that energy through here. Then you got your what? Where's your drum? Right? You got your drum, your heartbeat. That's the
Yeah.
rhythm. You already got rhythm. You know people who dance and they say they don't have rhythm, right?
Yeah.
If you got a heart,
You'd be dead with no rhythm.
right? Right? You got a heart, you got rhythm.
Yeah.
You know, so
They might just be listening to different music.
mm,
I've watched some people dance and I'm like, you just hear something different than and that's okay. That's totally okay. On the dance floor, you know, anything
yeah,
goes.
yeah, anything goes. Let that energy flow. You know. So I love what we have. Alba here. Alba, we got pure bliss, and she said, "Oh wait." They said commitment to one's own path sounds like commitment. So when it comes to that word discipline or that word commitment, where do you see the two coincide, and where do you see they reside in your life?
Yeah, I think they are interchangeable. Perhaps like in some more rigid institutions like discipline could have like a to me I I never liked the word until recently, until I
Which one?
revisited the
Which
word.
one?
It's like I don't want to be disciplined. I don't want to be rigid. I don't like showing up with you for a month straight on Wednesdays at a 12 has been magical for me because I'm not like a scheduled person, but I was like, I'm gonna make this commitment, you know, and thank you for your flexibility yesterday. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm happy we're here now. And so they're interchangeable because as you're saying that now, I'm replacing it with love. It's
Mm,
love showing up for the opportunity. There's the opportunity, and you show up with love for yourself.
hmm
And it's like I have an opportunity to love myself and go into perhaps like I think that discipline is like if we want to like train ourselves, we're making that decision to go into the unknown, to do the thing that might be growing and different and new,
mm.
you know? I
Wow. So deciding to love yourself.
mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. I love that. You know, it's one of my mentors was telling me like, you know, there's these words that we use all the time, like you know, a choice, a decision, a commitment. And they said that for them, when they thought of the word decide, to decide, it means to cut off. Like when someone makes a decision, you know, kind of like how a surgeon might make an incision,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like they're cutting through something, or you know, like scalpel, you know, like the tools they need to make an incision.
Yeah.
Or you know, when I was young, when I was a baby, I didn't have a choice, but I went through circumcision, right? I
Mm-hmm.
was circumcised, so they had to, you know, cut something off, right? Cut
Yeah.
off skin. So when you decide, it's almost like you cut off something, you know? You're
Mm-hmm.
cutting something off to go this way. You're you're not going that direction. You've decided to go this direction, so you cut off that direction, you know?
Yeah.
So when you make a commitment, they said it's almost like, you know, okay, I'm going to commit, you know, come what may, no matter what the weather looks like, no matter what life looks like, no matter what my struggles look like, I'm going to commit to this and just going to make this happen no matter what. This is my commitment, you know, kind of like marriage is a commitment, right? Till death do us part, that kind of commitment, right? You know, through sickness and in health, you know, rich or poor, I'm committing to this.
Yeah.
Then the last one he said is resolve. And the power of a resolve is that it's already done. When you say it's resolved within you, that means it's done in there. It's done in here. When it's done in here, it's done out there. It's already done. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
don't even have to think about deciding. You don't have to try and make a commitment. It's done. You know, so when you get there, it's like you're unstoppable. You know?
I
Yeah.
feel like that's where you're at. I feel like you're unstoppable.
So like, is there something in your life where you have felt that kind of like you've gone through those stages where you felt like, yeah, I'm gonna decide, yeah, I'm gonna commit, and then yeah, no, this is it, you know?
Oh yeah, I feel that the things that like light me up or anything we do that's for our true journey, it's not even there's no sacrifice. And you're right, you have to decide.
Mm.
Like in any relationship, there's agreements. Any relationship with self, with others, with the universe. It's a reflection. So if we show up half-assed, the universe will show up half-assed. And then we get pissed and we go, ah, but we got to look at how our energy is. So if we're coming full ass, the universe, it's just a reflection, like you said. And there's less, I love that you said we don't have to think or you use those words because I find that as humans, we try to, or in myself, I try to think a lot when I don't need to. You know, like I get lost in the space of my mind sometimes and I don't really need to use that energy. And we do consume a lot of energy with our
Hmm.
minds. So it's something to be cognizant of. But I feel like once you know how to like feel your feelings and process your emotions and know what it is like your body is telling you, because your body is like a truth meter. You know, it will tell, it has the signs that you can like learn, especially when you do qigong. You're in the flow, you unblock the stuff like you said, like you're aligned with the earth, connected to the cosmos. So then you're a channel, you can be played like the flute,
Hmm.
and then you don't got to think about it.
What more do you need? You know? And what you say is so true, Emily. You know, what you say is so real. It's a human condition. Our thoughts, our mind, our mental faculties, we've been given this beautiful awareness, but sometimes it can feel like you know, it goes against us. You know, that monkey mind that just we get pulled this way and that, we get propelled, we get prodded, we get pushed.
But
And you know, oh, go ahead.
that's like it's a testament to how amazing and how subtle and how magic we are that our attention is being like sought after. It is the true like it's the gold that everyone is mining for because even on Instagram you see like everyone is trying to like teach different ways to get your attention and do your videos like this and do that, which is fun and all, but your attention is like Like that needs to be highlighted. Where your attention goes, it is so important. And yes, like there is a lot of power
For
there.
sure. You know, it's all powerful. You know, they say where our attention goes is where energy flows. You know, that energy flows where our attention goes. I think that we really underestimate that. It sounds cute, right? It sounds like, you know, it sounds very poetic, but we don't understand the power of
Yeah.
of that poetry. It's real. And what you said about, you know, sometimes we get lost in the sauce and we forget our ingredients. That's what my friend calls it. It's like I got lost in the sauce and I forgot my ingredients. Like I forgot that I held the original recipe, you
Ooh.
know? So
Yeah.
what are the times when you feel like that, and how do you recalibrate or how do you realign yourself in those moments?
Like when we get like triggered, especially because I feel that those are the moments when, you know, you find yourself outside of your body sometimes, or you might react instead of respond.
Hmm.
Again, it comes back, and these are things like I had to learn, going back to the breath,
Hmm.
you know, um, in my hypnosis class. They're gonna, if your anus is tight, you gotta breathe into the four corners of your hips,
Well, like
so you can like, huh?
your sphincter, like your your sphincter.
Yeah, like when you hear something that like like when you're tight, and I mean you'll feel in your body when you're tight, or you're hearing something that like you're you can feel it in your body that you're like it might be triggering
Hmm.
you. And triggers are just like we're being noticed of where the points are in a horizon. Like we have land, right? And we're seeing where the limits of our land are, and then we have an option. Do we want to expand beyond that point, or we want to stay within the confines?
Mm.
So when we feel like tight and we're like this, if when we breathe, we can now like listen and be receptive.
Mm.
So that's something like, yeah, with like conditioning works many ways. So you can condition yourself like when you feel that, and recognizing what it is, and then going like, oh, okay, cool. Like you were saying with the redefining the words and paying attention to what the words mean is really important. Um, so yeah, that's like the breath. The
Yeah.
tools are simple. Most of the magic is really subtle and simple, and it's like underestimated. But once you put it into application, it's exponential and
Yes.
undeniable.
Yes, I agree. I agree. You know, the principles are simple. And, you know, some of the most amazing and most powerful practices, they lie in simplicity. You know, they're not that complicated. And I think that is kind of why we underestimate them, or we don't value them as much, or we might take them for granted because it's almost so simple. For some people, it's like annoyingly simple. You know?
Yeah,
It, it can't be this easy, right? There's no way that it's this easy, but what if it was?
yeah,
Right? What if it is?
yeah. Like my problem is too complex. I'm too difficult. I'm too. That's just you want to. You're in that energy, and you're good there, and that's okay. You'll be stuck until you are uncomfortable enough to change and move and grow, and that's okay. You know, we've all been there. But I definitely like being in the flow better than being trying to swim upstream. You know, I'm not salmon.
Yeah.
They're delicious. I like going. I've been in a river. I like going downstream. It's more fun.
And you said that practice you learned, Emily, when you learned to expand beyond the land, or you said you could stay home in your comfort zone, or you could run, you know, beyond.
Hmm.
So did you learn that in your hypnotherapy class?
Yeah, I think hypnotherapy reinforced the simplicity, because I learned a lot of things like Reiki, sound healing, what else? Anything that was like I even wanted to be a psychologist. When I was in college, I studied psychology, and I did not like how I found a lot of my courses were very triggering, and I didn't understand why at the time. I didn't understand myself in many ways, and it felt very limiting. And I did not like how they I had a teacher who was like, she was my abnormal psych teacher, and she said that if you are diagnosed with these things, if that's how you are. And I found that very
You were
limiting.
agree.
And I found abnormal psych to be fascinating because it teaches you like I don't see things as disorders, more like we have such great capacities, and things are somewhat like they can be understood in many ways. So I studied that until it just didn't resonate with me anymore. Um, and then even I studied through religions. I grew up Catholic. I studied the Bible with the Jehovah's Witnesses. I even knocked on some doors. I was that person.
Wow. Wow, right? Got that smile around the neighborhood.
I did. I was authentic, and like I wanted to learn, and I'm so grateful for my time with them because they taught me a lot. They're very disciplined and educating, and they yeah, but then and when it just doesn't resonate anymore, that's when I'm like, I gotta be true to myself and continue on my journey.
Wow.
So
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. So you're saying you learned discipline as well from being with the Jehovah's Witness. They taught you discipline.
yeah, I would maybe use dedication, but yeah, same. I guess those words are interchangeable. Yeah.
Okay. And what was it, the dedication that you feel you got from them that that carried you on after you left? Like what was it that you got there that made you so dedicated that you felt you still have remnants of that thing?
I love that their love for God and their love for themselves. Like they meet twice a week and they get really dressed up. And I love that because it's like you're adorning your body, you're taking care of yourself, you're presentable. You want to be presented in the world. Like sometimes people dress like what you can tell by how they're dressed, they don't want to be approached. So I saw like physical and like they were inspired by their love for God, or Jehovah, as they call him, and and they're not like for religion. They use apps. They have an app. Everything is free. You can check it online. Like there were a lot of like little nuances, and then when I walked into a Kingdom Hall, that's what they're called, the churches, and instantly I was greeted. And I had grown up Catholic, going to church like mandatory because I went to the school and whatever, and I never felt like that sense of community. Like people didn't really talk to each other that much. And but like you walk into a Kingdom Hall, everyone knows everyone, and instantly this family adopted me.
Mm,
And they never made me feel like an outsider.
yeah.
Even though their ideologies are like, there's people in the religion and there's people of the world, but they never made me feel, and any of us can walk into a Kingdom Hall and you will be greeted like that. And what I also love was that at the time I was traveling, and a friend told me like you can always visit a Kingdom Hall and like find community. And when I went to Argentina, I went to a Kingdom Hall and it was the same thing. Like they were like, "Hey, a visitor," and they, so welcoming, and like the system's like the same, so you understand the flow, and I love that, and I feel like as humans, like at least the ones that were on the same frequency, like we feel that, and kind of like, but let's make an app, let's connect us even more. Let's like maybe start building some physical communities or make the communities or places that are safe known to each
Mhm.
other, so that we can learn from all of our experiences, and kind of like cater our life experience. Like I feel like all of us have a specific vision and a unique expression, and as we go we can like learn from all these things. But yeah, I forever love them, and whenever I see them, like I say hi and talk and whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, not
Yeah.
love for the witnesses. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that experience, just to have that sense of community, like coming together and just like having them approach you just like you were one of the family, you
Mm-hmm.
know, just one, just not like a stranger, you know, like you were welcomed in open arms. That really reminds me, Emily, of when I was spending time with the monks and nuns from Myanmar. So the Burmese monks and nuns that brought me into their monastery, into their meditation center, they were the same kind of, they took everybody or anybody on the street. They took anybody that was willing enough to come and, you know, learn meditation or just even stay there. And they never had, there were no strings attached. You know, they took homeless people that were living on the street. They took people that were drug addicts, strung out, like anybody. They took me, you know, like I was in there just, you know, sleeping on this little cot, you know, next to the floor with all these little baby kittens that were around because there were a lot of cats over there. And so it was just, it was awesome just to be in that field, just to be able to cultivate myself around these people who were treating me like like family, like you said, you know, just that feeling of kinship, that feeling of fellowship, that feeling of we're the same, you know, there's really no difference. Even though there were so many cultural differences and so many consciousness differences that they expanded me into that new way of being. But I love how you put it because it's so freeing, you know, to just be welcome like that, especially when you say when you grew up Catholic, it was in Argentina.
No, I grew up here,
Okay.
um, in like right outside of DC in Virginia, and I went to Catholic school first through 12th grade. I wore a uniform, the whole
Mhm.
thing.
It was very like structured.
Very like that. I think that's why I have a thing with the word discipline because I was not. I was like a free flowing wildflower in this like disciplined world where I was told what to wear and whatever and like you know all these things and like but in second grade when I asked the priest do dogs go to heaven and I was more like I was already like checking like what's your answer. He told me no, that dogs don't go to heaven, and then I was like, well, that's not a place I want to be anyway, so bye.
That was you. That was like deuces. You know,
And then I told my mom, and she told me, she was like, you don't have to believe what they say. Just take in the education, and when you're done, you can decide what you want. And I appreciate that she gave me that liberty because then I just like I did take in the education. Like it was great. I had like awesome experiences, and I'm grateful for what I learned. But yeah, I haven't been back since.
wow, that was the deal breaker, huh? You were like, oh,
How are you gonna tell me that like dogs have there's just a lot of inconsistencies and that's where I'm like I can't hang at this party or drink the juice here. No.
so was it the concept or the idea of the soul? Were they trying to say that they were soulless beings, like dogs don't have
Yeah,
souls, or what?
something like that. But then they have a saint like Saint Francis of Assisi that is like the patron saint of animals and it's like why even waste time on something that doesn't have a soul, but then you have a patron saint for him. And then I don't know, there's just a lot of, and I was like why are these there, you have these elaborate buildings but then like there's people on the street and they're you know I don't ever see Catholics, like not that Catholics don't do this, but you don't see them out in the community like not doing like sponsored activities. Like we would do like community, like we would make sandwiches for the homeless, but just more like really acting on what's being taught. Like someone even they said it at a mass. They said, you know, like people act one way here, but the minute you're in the parking lot, you're cursing at each other and whatever. And like it was very hypocritical. And I feel that I mean that's just it comes with like the what happened with religion, and that's why intention is so important because I feel that religion, like as humans, we want to connect. We love community. We love like the experiences we're having, if we want to call it Jehovah, the galaxy, God, ourselves, animals, and but we like when you bring like you know it was like corrupted when they brought business aside to it and whatever. But
What
like
you
I
mean?
don't, yeah. So you got to like, you know, learn to separate that. And then,
Mhm.
yeah.
So you said, was it your mom, Emily, told you to separate the man from the message, or separate the message from or separate the teaching?
I think what I enjoyed was that she recognized my, my little critique there, and she was like, you don't have to believe anything that they're saying. And I was like, I feel like that's huge to tell a child, like, you can just take in information and you don't have to just swallow it,
Right.
you know? If it doesn't feel right, don't digest it. But you can like listen to other, I think it's really valuable to listen to other perspectives and ask questions, and just like, you know, out of curiosity to find out how did you get to that perspective, because a lot of other people do just digest and replicate, and they don't even think about it. So,
Very
you
true.
know.
Very, yeah. Questions are what got me here.
Oh yeah.
You know, questions are what, you know, led me to this approach, or this lifestyle, this style of living. I got here through skepticism. You know, ironically enough, I got here through asking questions, through wondering, what do I really know? You know, is this what is actually what it is, or is this just something I've been taught? Is this something that I bought? Is this an idea that I've been sold? You know, things that I've been told? Like, am I just being controlled? You know? So these were the questions. And when I asked more questions, I got more lessons, you know? So when you're talking about before abnormal psychology, you know, with just taking and extracting the education and kind of leaving the rest of the information, what about you in that class with abnormal psychology? You said your teacher said something like, if this is how you are, then this is how it is. Like, this is just the way it is. What about that was triggering, or did it resonate with you?
Well, what about healing?
Hmm.
You know, we're not finite beings, we're infinite beings that are capable of healing and change. And I find that we give way too much credit to science. Science is just record keeping. You know, some of us can feel the magic, and we don't need someone to do an empirical study to prove it. We know it because we experienced it, and that's enough for us. Then we give a lot of credit to science, but science is like catching up with us. And so it felt like, hello, I'm in college or university, and this is supposed to be like the leading edge, what we're supposed to be discussing, and this person is giving me this like finite energy. Plus it was really triggering because I associated with a lot of the abnormal psych disorders.
You said
And
you related to them?
oh yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us do. It's just what I do appreciate in psychology, they give you a definition. It's like it's an issue when it becomes when it's like an impediment to you living your life. So a lot of us can be like bipolar or multiple personalities or whatever the hell. But if we can get through life, then it's not a disorder. You know, it's not an issue. It's only an issue if it's like kind of getting in the way. So it's what I saw it as, like, we all have magical powers that if you want to label it whatever, like autism, ADD, whatever the like ADD to me is, sure, there's like different ways to channel your energy, but if you're like taking in the medication really fucks with you. Like I took some Adderall when I was in high school, and I was like, I can feel this is like long-term effects that I do not want to feel anymore. You can just have some strong coffee. But everyone's different. Everyone's being is different. You know, like have your journey, and don't judge your process. But like take in that information. And I forgot your question, but here we are. And I also, when you were talking, like we don't have to. I just want to put this question out there. You, because I feel like I might be ADD. I can have three different conversations with you and keep up with them at the same time. Like I can revert back to different subjects and whatever. And but not everyone is on that same energy wavelength, and that's okay. You know, if we're gonna take it slow and do one subject at a time, I can also do that.
And I admire the usage of your superpowers, you know? It's one thing to know it, and it's another thing to grow it, you know,
Mm.
to utilize it. It's
Mm.
have the like Batman has all these utility belts, right? He's got all these gadgets on his tool belt,
Oh,
but if you
true.
don't use it, then
What good
right,
is it?
you know, what's it doing there?
Yeah.
You know? So I love
He's just looking good in that suit.
right, right. Look good in the suit, but it's like use your power. Use your power.
Yeah.
So I acknowledge it. I love that you accept it. And I love how you project it. I love how you reflect it. You know, I love how it's connected, you know? So with me, I mean, being diagnosed with ADHD at such a young age, I didn't know who I was. So me taking all those medications, you know, like you said, the Adderall, the Ritalin, the Strattera, the Concerta, like all I was taking stuff for depression and hyperactivity and all this stuff. I didn't know my power. You know, they were just telling me, "Hey, you're just one of these kids. You can't focus like them, like those kids over there."
But what kid has a long attention span? You know, like
You know?
kids are just surges of energy and they do what interests them. Duh. That's what we're supposed to be doing. You know, like I wonder if did anyone try to give you any tools and resources before giving you the medication?
Really good question. I you know, I can only recall going to counseling, going to therapy, and going to, you know, just being psychoanalyzed, you know, having
Yeah.
talks with people. I I feel like that was really the only form, but I didn't really have a lot of mediums that I knew about where I could just really harmonize with that energy and really synergize with myself. Like I didn't have a lot of mediums that I knew about that I could just write things down, like journaling, you know, or
Hmm.
stuff like meditation, or you know, exercise and just use the energy. You know, I always felt like
Channel
yeah,
it.
channel
Yeah.
it, to channel it creative, to channel it into something productive, and not feel like it's always destructive. You
Mm.
That's what I had a feeling of, like this is just how life is going to be, you know? Like you'll never be free, just how it is. So it was the adoption of the idea that I was in that constriction kind of played out in its own restriction. Like I restricted myself. I was in a mental prison of my own making because I accepted, I like I said, I you said I ate the idea and digested it.
Mm.
You said you don't eat it. You don't have to receive it. You don't have to believe it, you
Mhm.
know? But if you do, then now you perceive it, and now, you know, it takes a lot to relieve it, right?
Mhm.
So for me, that was the testament of it took a lot of time for me to shed those layers, to really peel back the onion, to allow myself to really let that emotions release and then feel more inner peace. It took a long time, you
Mhm.
know. Once I broke free, it felt like shackles that were around my head that finally, you know, finally like, ah, you know,
You let your inner freak flag fly.
that's it. Felt like that. It felt triumphant. You know, it felt
Yeah.
glorious just to say, just to stand on business. You know, that's the saying people call it today, like standing on business. I was standing on something. I was betting on myself. I'm at the poker table. These are the cards I've been dealt. You know what? I'm not gonna fold. I'm gonna bet on myself. Right?
Ooh.
I'm a all in. Right? Let's push these chips. Let the chips fall where they may. You know, it's
Mhm.
gonna be a beautiful day, right? Because that's what we say. So thank you for that.
Wow.
I don't know if anybody, I don't think anybody's ever asked me that question, so I appreciate that. Yeah.
Of course. And so you kind of like walked us like briefly, I know there's more intricacies, through your journey, how, so you kind of denied your superpowers at first, and then you went through this whole journey where you touched on when you were with the monks and nuns, and you were like exploring different avenues. And how did you know when things felt true to you? How, like, what was your tell? How did you feel it in your body? Like, you know, when did you start betting on yourself more, and like seeing, like, how did the magic play out?
Good question. So, they say that you find your vocation, or almost like your calling in life when your greatest gladness meets one of the world's greatest needs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we've all been a gift to give back. I feel that way. Like Pablo Picasso said, the meaning of life is to find your gift, but the life is to give it away. Give it away. And if I can give it away each day, it keeps coming back. It's like there's never any lack. It keeps coming back. So the more you just give of your gift, that's the thing that started to lift me in my current circle. There was a voice, I don't remember where the voice came from, but there's been just like a handful of instances in my life where I might ask a question, and it's almost like sometimes you don't even voice it, but your spirit, your soul, your energy is asking this question out, like, who can answer this question? And it's like a voice came back, or just a knowing that all that you need is within you now. It's like, how can I just, how? Do you ever find yourself asking, like, how can I make this dream come true? How can I make it possible? How can I rise out of this circumstance? And then, the voice says, like, spread love. Or the voice says, give joy, or give of yourself, or just start giving. And that's the secret to living. Giving is like giving. And then when I'm giving more, I start receiving more. Because my hands were already open. I'm already open to give. So since my hands are already open, I'm open to receive.
And you have space, because you're not holding on. Your butthole's not clenched. You're like open.
The sphincter is not tense. There's no tenseness, right? Right? So tense, it only right? It only makes sense. So thank you. It's like you're reminded me of the message that came to me years ago that told me, Jerome, just start giving. Start giving more. No, give more. More.
Yeah.
Let me find out how much. And I realized that the answer is limitless. There's no limit. There's no limit. We've already been given this life. Everything else is a bonus. Like, here, we made it.
Yeah, we got the golden ticket. We're here.
How many millions of sperm were like swimming to the ovaries, right?
Yeah.
Millions. My mom, she's an OBGYN. My mom's a gynecologist. So she's told me about, like, you were the one,
Wow.
like how many babies she's delivered over the years? Hundreds. You were the one. You made it. Emily, you're here. Like, you got it. The rest is a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I would love to talk to your mom, because I'm actually 15 weeks pregnant, and changing the paradigm on even birthing, which is like a great time to be primal and real and free. That's a whole nother conversation. Wow. So
first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Whoa,
thank you.
Just throw it out like yeah, congrats.
Something slight.
But that's amazing, like, how are you feeling? 15 weeks, how are you feeling?
Well, yeah, I feel great. I'm a healthy person that listens to their body. I had like nausea the first 3 months, which I don't recommend.
Mm.
but now I feel great. I got to see the little ball of fire in a sonogram, and I've never seen something move like that. And I was like, this is an alien baby. And he turned his head and like looked, and I swear to God, it looked like an alien. And I was like, oh my God.
So what was the feeling when you saw him? Like, what was the feeling that you had? Like, oh my gosh, this is a life inside, you know?
Yeah, so it's so cool because I feel that you feel the energy. Like we feel things, but not often do we get to like grow them in our body. And like have felt this energy, but like it was a confirmation of the energy I was already feeling. I felt very like happy and fiery energy, and to see it confirmed, and they already have their personalities. They already are in their own special way. So to see all that like play out was just like, it's really special. Yeah.
Wow. And you said fiery energy?
Hmm. Yeah.
Wow. And you got the fire in you,
Oh, I know. Yes. That's why it feels very much at
Yeah.
home.
So you're gonna be passing on the torch,
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the aim. Yeah. Kindle that fire.
Mhm.
Wow. Have you thought about, I mean, do you already have a name?
Mm-mm. I don't. I'm same with like my animal or the animals that are in my life. I might like have like names thrown out there, but until I like meet them face to face and like or they tell me, it's like not a thing yet. Yeah. And I don't even I say he because it feels like a masculine energy. So I don't know the sex. I like to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
Like I carry a lot of masculine energy, so maybe it's a female like myself, or it might be a male, but yeah.
yeah. I like that. Life is a gift anyway, so why not be pleasantly
Hmm.
surprised? Yeah, pleasantly surprised. I love that. Louisa, she says, wow, awesome, congrats. She said, may you be blessed in Mother Earth womb. Congratulations. It will maybe come in a dream, she said.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
We actually just started connecting in the messages. Beautiful soul. She has such angelic energy. She sent me a voice note, and I was like, I feel like I'm high right now. Like I'm just up here with the angels.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
mother as well, so I would definitely, I'm sure she would have some words for you if she had,
Oh.
you know.
Hell yes, I welcome all like the advice, and I want to talk to women that have been through childbirth and like hear their experiences, and because there's a lot of fear programming in our experiences, and I don't think childbirth is more natural.
Mm.
It's I hate to compare it to like going to the bathroom, but it's like the more relaxed we are and we release, or even like just like life, like the more relaxed we are and we're just like let with the flow, obviously like you want to make sure that you have like medical, like I'm not the person, I'm not ignorant of like the medicine, or sometimes you do need surgery, or sometimes you do need an incision, but our bodies are really intelligent and just giving that more precedent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I give thanks, just for our advances in society, through modern technology and different methods and different things that, if someone has complications, because that was my birth, there were big complications,
You
and
weren't
they had to
sure. You weren't sure if you wanted to come through.
they
You're like, oh no.
had to get me out of there, you know, it, real quick. So yeah, glad that they knew how to do that, because I mean, I'm sure it wasn't that long ago in the big scheme of things, in the big realm of things, that they might not have known. They might not have had a procedure, like a cesarean, you
Hmm.
know, to be able to. It was just like whatever happened happened. So now we have procedures like that where life can still go on, life can still continue,
Hmm.
even if there's a complication. It's not the end. So I'm thankful, you know.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for a different route.
Right.
Yeah, but it's good to like, I feel like it's good to be open to everything, attached to
Yeah.
nothing. And yeah.
But everything's gonna go perfect with you. I mean, just I'm like sending you so much love. This is amazing. You know, what an amazing
Thank you.
time. I can only imagine, you know, can only imagine what feelings you're feeling and the excitement and, you know, maybe like the even nervousness, just even anticipation of it all.
Oh yeah. Hey, hey Nabiha. This is the longest I stayed watching live. We're extending those attention spans. Thank you. It's
Mm.
always a pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? One thing
Mhm.
that I really give thanks, Emily, when it comes to extending my attention span. And it's almost in this day and age, it almost feels rebellious, but it's just the art of reading.
I love books. I love I carry a backpack of heavy ass books, and I'm a book magnet. I just went to the library and they had a book sale. I was books that I had been waiting to acquire because I like letting the universe surprise me, and there it is for 25 cents right there. And I put them all away, but I always carry like I'm a mini walking library. And yes, like taking that time with the book and reading.
Mm.
I know you're an avid reader.
It's food. It's food.
Mm,
You know, it's like it's food for thought. It's like it's like bread for the head.
mm,
Bread for the head. You know, that's that mental nourishment. It's very stimulating, but it's also very nourishing.
mm.
Have that sort of assimilation of information, and it's organic. It's natural. You know,
Yeah,
and it's so gradual and so subtle that you almost don't realize it's taking place until you come face to face with a scenario. I've had people that tell me, you know, Jerome, you just sound like you read so much. And I'm like, really? Like, like, what? You know? So
yeah,
I would have never known it until somebody told me, you know? So there's certain things that you've eaten or digested that when they just come out, you know?
yeah. And I feel that reading doesn't get enough like attention, that it's what's in between the lines. It's what you bring to the book, because there's so much to learn. And I'm not the type that has to I don't read a book from cover to cover or read the whole thing. I used to, but now it's more like I take it and go. And some books I read like 100 times because I'm a different person every time.
Mhm.
But a lot of it is like what you get in the silences, what you get in the in-betweens, and then what you bring to the table, like how you understand it and how I understand it, it's going to be really different.
Right.
And like you said, like the information that's assimilated from it, because are we even reading what's on the page? And like that's the beauty. That's what I love. I love reading. It's someone's perspective, and they took the time. Like what a beautiful manifestation,
Right.
you know? Are you gonna write a book?
I've
Are
written
you
books.
written
I've written,
books? What?
yeah, yeah.
5? Where are they at?
They're on Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta check them out.
Yeah, you know, I'm with Nabiha and Louisa. We're on Goodreads together.
Oh, snap.
There's a little app, it's called Goodreads, and you can see what people are reading, you can see what your friends are reading, you can celebrate your progress. Like, you know, I was never well to, you know, really finish books. To I would start something and keep hopping and keep hopping and keep stopping, keep dropping and keep stopping, you know. So now giving me encouragement to finish these books, to review a book, to say, wow, here's what I heard about this, here's what it taught me, here's what I took away, you know, here's
Mm.
little nuggets that I got, and then I just keep going. So yeah, Goodreads is where Nabiha and Louisa and I have been going to just put put up what we've been reading and just like, you know, boost each other up, almost like empowering
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah. Do you write in the books? Are you one of those
I
people
highlight,
that you highlight?
I
Okay.
highlight passages that really stick out to me, like quotes, messages, things that I want in my memory. I will highlight them. Of course, not if it's a library book. I get a lot of library books, so I don't
Yeah.
highlight them. But other than that, yeah, I will definitely. My books are full of highlighters. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. And I love getting I don't really new books are okay, but I love secondhand books and then that have like the someone else's like it's like seeing their journey, like what they thought was important. It's like really personal.
Mm.
Um so I love that. I was thinking of doing like book reviews or starting like a book club or something.
Yeah. Come join.
Gotta get on the app.
Come join
I
us. Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll finish one. I
Oh.
like hopping. I like hop
Mm.
because that's like where the ADD comes in, but I fully support it because it, you know, sometimes I want to read something like metaphysical and sometimes I want to read something a little dark. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nabiha is the same. You know, like we both read books that she put me on some books that I wouldn't have known, you know, were that dark, but like they're pretty, you know. So actually, hats off to Nabiha, hats off to you to be able to eat that and you know to be able to separate like you did with the abnormal psychology, like you did with Catholicism, like you did with Jehovah's Witness, like wherever you went, you were able to take something in, but you didn't take it all. Like you didn't have to digest the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know,
You
it
can
didn't.
stay true to you. Stay true to you through all of your experiences. I think
Yeah.
that's like the beauty. Like when you let that freak flag fly and you like empower yourself and you say yes to you and you bet on you, you can go anywhere, where whatever realm, whatever religion, whatever conversation, and know that like you got
Yes.
you. You know, you've been with you from the beginning, like from that sperm that said, "This egg is mine, bitch. Move over." This is me. This is mine. Take it in. Like I already know I'm here for this shit. You know. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. It's funny. She's at the library right now. Speak.
Hey,
You
I
know.
love that. I feel library. I love libraries. Like I just love going, and then I just go. What am I inspired to like look up? And it can you like I just let myself anything at all, and just like
Mhm.
open it, and then I'm like, oh, that's what I'm here for. Like,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an experience. You know.
Mhm.
Lately, the library over here, since you know Valentine's Day is right around the corner, they have these things. Really, they call them blind dates. They call them blind dates. So they'll have a bookshelf on the wall with a whole bunch of books and like a white sheet covering the book,
Yeah.
and it just says blind date, so you don't know what you're checking out. So you just take the book, you don't know what it is. It could be anything. You just take it, you check it out, you get home and you unwrap it, like
Yeah.
ah, you know, blind date, right? So it's a funny little idea that they're doing right now for
Did
Valentine's Day.
you do it? What?
No, I didn't do it, not yet,
Come on, you gotta tell us how it
because
goes.
we've already done like we're already reading together. We
Uh,
already take the book, but you know what? Since you
you
challenge,
don't date multiple books at once? Hey.
yeah, I'll go grab one today. Since you made that
Come
challenge,
on.
yeah, I'll grab one and see what we get.
We're
Yeah.
intrigued. We're intrigued to see what book comes into your vicinity and what it's got for
Yeah.
you.
Take it to the coffee shop, go on a date with it. Um,
Yeah, like I encourage everyone. You might not be interested at first, or you don't need, just like allow your curiosity to take you places. And like, I love reading things that I think I don't have the mental capacity to understand, like chemistry or whatever the hell. But I find something in there that I'm like, oh, this is why I'm here. You know, that's what happened with the Catholicism and the Jehovah's Witnesses and like most situations, I love throwing myself into the unknown because A, I find out who I am all over again. So it's like, hello, me. And B, like there are experiences that are just so filled with information and insight and then you get to take that with you wherever you go, you know? So yeah.
So you're reintroducing yourself to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow, Emily, thank you for this.
Thank you.
You,
Thank you.
it's always lovely, you know?
Likewise.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a series now. Live, live with Luna. Live with Luna, you know? Yeah. So
Hey.
I'm excited to see, where it continues from here, and let's keep it going. Let's,
Yes, let's keep it
yeah.
going. The book clubs, the love, the qigong, the freak flag flies, you know. This is a safe place for us all.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
See you next time.
See you, and thank you to everyone who came in and shared your energy with us. It was definitely felt. Thank you. I love you all.
Thank you. Take care.